Welcome back, Shalligators. Are we feeling merry and jolly today? Well, evidently Travis Kelce is not, following the loss of his team, the Reds against the Buffalo Bills. What the fuck are these? Whatever. So there was a little news report going around that it was all dramatic, like Taylor Swift being there for her boyfriend Travis after the devastating loss of the Reds against the Buffalo Kyles or whoever the fuck these people are. It's like, just calm your tits, page 6. Just calm it down. But it got me to thinking about how to be supportive when a guy is going through a hard time. Because listen, it is the holidays. The holidays are very difficult. They really can be. Even if you have a great family and a great boyfriend, you're always gonna run into some minefields, right? That's just family, that's high pressure situations. And very often the holidays, I think they can be like a microcosm for your overall trials and tribulations that people face in a relationship. Meeting the family, integrating with friends, meeting coworkers, spending, eating, things like that. It's just raw, concentrated. And it's actually a time when a lot of people break up. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram. You should, because yesterday was the day before, was the #1 breakup day of the year. More people break up that day of the year. It's December 11th than any other day. And it's because of stuff like this. You are just really feeling a lot of pressure. So listen, whether or not you're dating a Kansas City Gold, whoever, player, or you're dating Taylor Swift, I'm going to tell you how to be supportive for a man without becoming his therapist, without mommying him, and most importantly, without making him feel weak. There has to be a lot of strategy when it comes to giving a man support, which is frustrating because when we give our friends support, it's just support. I don't have a strategy and, I don't want to say this. I'm just come here. And I'm giving them advice and I'm bringing wine and food. It's I don't even think about the ways in which I support females. Males. Ugh. It is really a minefield of ego, just quite frankly, fuckery. So we're going to talk about it and talk about what's going on with Taylor and Travis because I am happy for them. I love it. I love this. What a Christmas miracle for her. I love it. We have our issues with Taylor, but we love her. But before we get into it, just want to remind you guys, if you need some looks for some holiday events, or you're already getting a head start on thinking about new year, new you want to brush up your style, you want to maybe branch out in your style and try some different things without committing to something that has a big price tag, or going out and buying that shitty fast fashion that's just destroying the earth, try my new clothing rentals subscription service, XO Style Box. I love it. This was a huge need I had in my life because I take a lot of pictures. I go to a lot of events and I don't like to wear things twice. I know I am a garbage bag, but once you photograph it and post it, it loses the magic. So I like a constant rotation in my wardrobe. But yeah, I'm not trying to run my Amex up and I'm not trying to buy shitty clothes. So I created XO Style Box as a way for me to have an endless wardrobe. You get 5 pieces a month for a flat rate. First month is free though. So this can take you through all the holidays and into the new year. $0. You can keep pieces as long as you want. You can keep a jacket the entire season if you want to. I don't care. Keep it as long as you want. You don't have to send back everything at once. You can rotate pieces out and you have unlimited swaps a month. Unlimited. You can get 20 pieces a month. 20. Isn't that wild? And these are nice revolve level pieces, $200 to $300 garments. Why would you buy that when you can wear it a few times? Send it back. Try something new. Branch out. So go ahead and click the link down in the bio. First month is free, unlimited swaps, glam luxe looks. And if you go to my Instagram and click my story highlight called Style Box, you can see some of the looks that I'm rocking this week. I love it. Okay. So again, I love when these page 6, they're like consoling Travis after the heartbreaking defeat of the Green Bay Packers. What are these names? Blah, 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 blah. I've dated a lot of athletes. I have dated one of the best hockey players who's ever lived, and then a few who are not the best players that have ever lived, but they were still fun. And I remember when I first started dating them and they would lose a game, my main ex oh God, what a hurt lock. It took me 5 years to get over him. When he would lose, I'd be like, what? Oh God, are you okay? I would take it so hard. And he's like, hey, can't win them all, whatever. And that was the attitude that every single one of them had. I mean, unless it was a Stanley Cup playoff game where it's like, fuck, this really sucks. If it's a regular season game or even a playoff game, that's the attitude. It's like, you can't win them all. It's okay. And that was a good lesson for me of like, yeah, there's going to be ups and downs in life. It's like, hey, I tried my best, you know? We're a team. We get through it. We move on to the next. I'm not going to wallow. So it's funny that these, you know, headlines are like devastating loss. Like he's fine. He is totally fine. But it did give me the idea of how to support a guy when he's going through something that isn't fine. Because like we said, it's the holidays. And this is a difficult time. And men are, spoiler alert, not always so in touch with their emotions. Isn't it funny how emotions just sneak up on men? They're like, oh, I feel this way. Oh my God, what is this feeling? Oh, I gotta get it off. It's like, that's regret, Chad. The feeling you're feeling is regret. I feel like women pre-feel emotions, right? Like I know how I'm going to feel September 29th, 2042. I know these, like I can just feel my emotions cast throughout time and space. Time is a flat circle. We feel it all. I feel the emotions I felt in 1992, September 20th. I still feel those emotions, so I'm feeling the future. Men, they're like, oh my God, what? And this is especially true about family. You know, they might have just like the, ooh, like the icky cloud, like, what is that feeling? You're like, it's dread, babe. It's dread. Why? It's like, because you're going to have to go be around Uncle Marty who calls you a pussy for leaving the army. Okay. That's what you're worried about. It's like, I don't like this. Like, I know, James, I know you don't like this. We know more than they do. Not about everything, but about emotions. Yes, we do. And what do we like to do when we know about something that somebody else doesn't? We like to tell them. I'm a know-it-all. Obviously, you guys know that. And I'm sorry, it's real hard for me to keep my lips zipped when I can see the psychology that's going on inside someone's head or in their behavior. It is like so tough for me to be like, do you know why you're doing that? I can do it. It's your mom. Ah! It comes out. It is so tough. And guess what? It ruins a whole lot of relationships because guys don't fuck their therapist. We see a lot on Pornhub. There's not that channel. They want to fuck their stepmother. Ugh, what is with this step sibling thing on Pornhub? Like, it is everywhere. Clueless. That was the theme of the movie Clueless. I really ran with that. They don't fuck their therapist. That's not a fantasy men have, okay? Why? Because men don't like therapy. And they don't like people who are peeling back this mask that they are trying very hard to present to the world and being like, oh, excuse you, boop, underbelly, let me just poke at it. And I remember, if you are in the Shallontrage, Mr. Jet, right? Do you guys remember? The man who was flying me all over the world this spring on his private jet and like yachts and Formula One and Dior and Chanel, blah, blah, blah. I went to see him this summer and he's wonderful. I adore him. And I said something like insightful about what he was saying. And I was like, da, 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 da. And he was like, he's like, you just see right to the core of me. I'm like, well, isn't that what everyone wants? And he's like, no, it's not. And this man is like in his 50s, like obviously like a billionaire and very successful, very, very smart and very communicative, wonderful. And he's like, no. He's like, men want you to see what they're projecting. How do you not know that? And I'm like, I know it. I do think that this is a big difference between men and women. I actually want someone who sees past what I'm trying to do. Like if I'm acting like fussy or stubborn, I want someone who's like, she needs a hug. Or if I'm acting badass and bitchy, I want someone who's like, let me help you. I can see you feel alone right now. Men don't want that. They want us to buy what they're selling. Hook, line, and sinker. This is why men go for inferiors. This is why the guy you like will date someone who looks like she eats off the floor. Because she's like, oh, is that who you are? Wow. She's buying what he's selling. And he's like, nice. I've made this product that they're buying. There's no ugly underbelly. Oh, my back is killing me. That's what they want. That's what they want. It drives me absolutely fucking crazy because I know what you're saying. Like, okay, so I've worked my whole life to get very psychologically astute, look at myself, my own actions, level up, see machinations in other people, see when someone's trying to manipulate me, see when someone actually loves me or is telling the truth. And yet, when the chips are down, I have to pretend I don't see this. What? Yes, that is exactly what you have to do. That is what you have to do. As I've gotten older, I have realized the benefit in ego management / ego manipulation. It is not always advantageous to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. To hold a big old mirror up to a man and his behavior, and more importantly, his pathologies. That's not what they want. I know. We have to pretend that we don't see the little baby boy inside, the mommy issues, the daddy issues, the stepmom issues. Bleh. We have to pretend we don't see that. We have to make them think that everything is their idea. All this growth is their idea. I get why middle-aged women go gay. I get it, because at some point you're like, oh my God, enough is enough. I know. And they end up dating, Linda, the lady who runs their yoga studio, and they're all wearing Eileen Fisher separates and dream catcher necklaces. I mean, it's gross. And I hate Eileen Fisher, if that's what's gross about it. But I get it. I do get it. So what is a girl to do? How are we supposed to support a man in a time of need? I want us to step back in time right now to last summer, to a little phenomenon sweeping the nation called Maverick Top Gun, or Top Gun Maverick. I saw it 8 times in the theater with a different boy every time, making out every time. It was a wild ass summer. It was a wild summer. I love that movie. And one thing I love about it is the romance between Maverick and Penny Benjamin, played by Jennifer Connelly, who is very strange in real life. I have interviewed her and she is absolutely so bizarre. So bizarre. Anyway, when Maverick is like kicked out of the program or they're shutting the program, it's the point in the movie, they call it the dark night of the soul. It's when all is lost. The hero doesn't know what to do. How is he going to get out of it? Like Frodo lost the ring and like Elle Woods got dumped by Warner and losing her case, whatever. You know what I mean? It's that point in the movie. And Penny, who he loves and they love each other, wraps her arm around him. And he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And Penny is a badass. She runs a bar. She's smart. She's sassy. Like, she's no shrinking violet. And you know what she says? You're going to figure it out. You always do. And that's all she says. And that's what struck me. Not what she said, what she didn't say. Because as a writer, like, I watch movies and I'm like, here's what I would have said. Here's what I would have said. Here's how I would have scripted it. And I would have scripted it like, oh, Penny's like, babe, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Here's a whiteboard I took the liberty of making up. Nope. That's not what she does. You got this, babe. You'll figure it out. You always do, which demonstrates faith in him. It calls on history. Hey, you got this far. You didn't come this far to only come this far. You got this. I know that you'll make it. She's the cheerleader. She is not the player on the field. And that sticks with me because I'm a fixer. You probably are too. If you're an alpha female, of course you are. You're a doer. You're a doer. And guess what? You might be single. Are these two concepts related? Let's go back to what I said. The inferiors buy what they're selling. And I don't think Penny Benjamin is an inferior, but she's strategic. She is strategic and she's smart. And let's not forget, men wrote that movie. They wrote her as the perfect woman And that's what the perfect woman says. You got this. You'll figure it out. Of course, Penny had ideas in her head about how to help Maverick. Of course. She's an admiral's daughter. She knows the military as well as he do, but she didn't offer anything. You got it. You got this. This is very difficult. This is very difficult. It's almost a good thing that Taylor is dating someone like Travis Kelce versus another musician, because let's say that it was a musician she was dating who, like, their show got canceled, like their award got taken away, whatever catastrophes can befall a musician, their single flopped. She would be very, very hard pressed as an alpha female not to be like, well, have you tried reaching out to a different distributor? And what about this? And what about, she would come up with her whiteboard list. Dating a football player, she's like, I don't know. Have you tried scoring? I don't know. Is that the word you get on the thing with, I don't know. She's got nothing to offer, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The things she could offer are vagaries. They're meme phrases. You got this, babe. Better luck tomorrow. Live, laugh, love. Whatever. Just general platitudes. And that actually is what works. That is what works. If you want to give advice to a man, you connect on the emotional level. Babe, I get it. I remember I released this one thing and it was such a hard flop and everyone was watching and I just felt so embarrassed. I mean, listen, as I say that, don't say that you assume he feels embarrassed, because you'll be like, I don't feel embarrassed. But if you want to approach it, be like, hey, I understand the feelings behind what you're feeling, but don't offer a way to fix it. Even if you have one. And you probably do. So let's say you're dealing with a guy who is stressed about family this holiday, or let's say family, because that, right. I don't want to go. And usually they won't communicate exactly what's going on. It's like, I just don't want to go home for the holidays. And you're like, Jackson, you have to go home for the holidays. Your mom's going to be devastated. No, she's not going to care. Yes, she will. Yes, she will care. Okay. And then she'll blame me that I am keeping you from her. Like, this is my dynamic with my husband. He didn't want to go home for, and be around his family. And if any of you guys are watching this, I hope that you know that this actually wasn't me keeping him from you. I was always encouraging him to go home. He didn't want to. Okay. But he wasn't communicating that. He was being a chicken shit about it. And so it just looked like I was like the bitch wife who was like, no, you can't have your son back. That was not it at all. I was like, go, just get out of my hair for a few days. That's fine. I'm getting off topic. Dealing with family is difficult because the pushback you will get, and this is hurtful pushback, is like, you don't get it. Okay? Okay, Shallon, you don't understand the dynamics. Just back off. And this is the thing. They will turn on you. If you get into a therapy dynamic with a man, they will turn on you. Because you are the embodiment of their underbelly. You are the problem in looking past this strong, impenetrable persona that they want to project. You're cracking that. The way... And I know this is so hard for us to understand because, again, like, I want my friends to see past my like tough exterior to the gooey center. But let's think about it in terms of like, make it more literal, like your literal exterior. Imagine if you went out with like a full face of makeup, you were looking good, you were at a party, and someone's like, you look so pretty, oh my gosh. Imagine if your boyfriend was like, yeah, but her skin is totally broken out under all that makeup, isn't it, babe? You look so cute in that dress. Hannah, it's Spanx. She is fat as fuck, like total cellulite city under there. That's how it feels to them. That even if it's, I love all of her breakouts, love that cellulite. Shut the fuck up. I don't want you. That's not what you want to hear. You want them to buy what you're selling. You don't want them to see how the sausage is made. No. They don't either. So when you want to like dig in and talk about it, go back to this, she's full of cellulite under that dress. Go back to that and you will zip your lip real quick. Real quick. Don't show that man his own cellulite. Don't do it. It does. I know it's there. I know it's there. And you're like, but if he addressed it, he could change it. I know. That's not, he's got to come to that conclusion himself. He's got to want to strip down his like emotional cellulite. It's just, believe me, I have gone down this road so many times to my own doom, to my own ruin. We must preserve their egos. And it's funny, Mr. Jet, the one I was talking about, his daughter-in-law, the woman married to his son, one of his sons, is like the best. I'm obsessed with her. And she gave me the advice. She's like, you need to be gentle with Mr. Jet's ego. And I'm like, I just don't know that I can. She's like, 90% of my day is ego management. My son, my father-in-law, my son, she has two sons. My husband, interesting, I confused the two. My husband, my father-in-law, everybody, every male is like ego. And I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yeah, that's my job. That is my job. She doesn't work. And I'm like, fuck, that's kind of right. That is kind of your job. And I was like, I just don't know if I have it in me to like play that game all the time. She's like, oh, I totally get it. But that is the game that needs to be played to be with him. And it was a good lesson because as much as I would love to isolate that to Mr. Jet, ain't nothing new under the sun, baby. He is an extraordinary person, but he is absolutely ordinary in so far as we're talking about ego. Whether you live in a trailer or whether you live in one of 5 mansions around the world, you don't want your ego poked at. They just don't. A white trash lot lizard at a truck stop woman, Crystal, doesn't want to have someone point out her flaws any more than a Princess of Monaco does. Again, think of it that way. So when you pull up to try to help a man in any way, shape, or form, you must run it through the filter of what will this say to his ego? And when we say ego, we mean his sense of identity. Now, hold on. This is where we get into trouble. There is identity as we view someone, how the world sees someone, and then there's how the self sees themselves, how somebody sees themselves. Ideally, there's 2 circles, how the world sees you and how you see yourself, right? And ideally, these overlap, and you are projecting exactly who you are, and the world takes it for exactly that, right? It's all just, everything's just very aware. Usually it's a Venn diagram. What you project and how people see you, yeah, this, and this, that's correct. But then I see myself as la, 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 and people are like, okay. And they're just not buying it. Or vice versa. You don't see yourself as smart or capable, and people are like, she completely is. What are you talking about? Some people, they're like this. They're completely far apart. We know these people. They're fucking delusional. They're delulu. They're absolutely delusional. Oh, I'm a big man. Are you, Shane? Are you? You're so busy. So we need to look, when I say at his identity, his ego, not how does the world see him? And let me give him advice based on how the world sees him, AKA the truth. We need to look at how does he see himself? What is his self-concept? What is the police sketch of Shane the man, of James the stepdad? What is the police sketch there? And that is who I am speaking to, even though that's a delusion. You can understand, it's like, okay, that idea of himself is a fucking fiction. It's a fiction. But that's who I'm going to talk to. That's how I'm going to treat that fiction as fact. And I am going to appeal to this side of him. If you don't know where to begin, what does a man do for a living? What is his role in his family? Is he the savior? Is he the goof off? What is his shadow self? Ask him. Give me 5 adjectives you would use to describe yourself. How would you describe yourself, baby? And see what he says. See what he says. And you take that as gospel. For example, how would I describe myself? The first word that comes to mind is glamorous. Smart, bold, unapologetic, fearless. Now, that's my self-concept. And I'm sure some of you are like, okay, girl, Okay, I get that. You're like, you don't look glamorous at all. You're wearing a sweater. But nice try. And you seem not at all bold. We don't need to get into all the ways that that's false. But if people truly want to come at me in a way that is influential and convincing and get me to do something, you take those adjectives and that outline of who I am as fact. You talk to that version of me. You talk to that version of me. And I'm willing to listen because right out of the gate, I feel validated. My ego's been stroked. I'm a lot like a guy inside, so I understand why they're like this. I'm proud, I'm independent. I want to be viewed as kind of invulnerable, and like sturdy and strong. I'm the only child of a single mom. This is how a lot of us turn out. So when you're trying to give a man advice or be there for him, take the Penny Benjamin route. Be the cheerleader. Don't be the one playing on the field with him. And also, look at him not as who you see before you. All the flaws, all the emotional cellulite, all the spanks, you're looking past that. Even though that's the truth. I know. You need to look at what he is projecting, his self-concept. What is it? And you speak to that version of himself, even though it's fake. Parts of it are fake, or it's like a watered down version. You speak to that as if it were fact, as if everyone can see that, And you might be saying, he's delulu about who he is. And if I give advice to that crazy non-existent version of him, the advice won't work because this isn't true. What is your goal here? Probably positive change to help him, to get him through something. I get what you're saying. I completely do, because you're right. You're right. I need to give advice to the thing that actually exists and not advice to this fictitious character, because that character doesn't exist, boys. But what you ultimately want, the ends that justifies the means here, is you want this man to cowboy the fuck up, make healthy and positive decisions, and get through a bad time and refocus his energy on you. And the way he will do that is by feeling good about himself, even if those good feelings are delusional and based on delusion. It doesn't matter. I filmed something for the Shallon the other day about comparison and how to get out of the comparison loop. And especially you go home for Christmas, your mom is comparing you to her friends' kids, and you're comparing yourself to your friends from high school, and blah, blah, blah. It's just endless. And my advice is be a narcissist. Have a personality disorder, like I do. Being a narcissist is great because I just think I'm better than people. And am I delusional? Sometimes not. A lot of times I am. I truly believe I am better than people I'm getting compared to. I don't believe I'm better than the population at large. But if you are telling me to go toe to toe with Karen's daughter back home, I'm like, it's really not a comparison. But okay, sure. That delusion, even if Karen makes more money and actually has a husband and jogs 4 miles every day, I'm like, yeah, but but my delusion insulates me from that comparison and the jealousy and the bad negative feelings that come with it. So what's the problem? That makes me a happier person. That keeps me focused on my goals in my lane. It makes me deal with Karen's daughter with magnanimity instead of yeah, that bitch, she has everything I want. I'm like, cool. That's great. You have all these things. I have more though. Even if I don't, it makes me just better to deal with in the world. So what's wrong with that? So look at that as a truth. Borrow some narcissism from yourself to get out of the comparison loop. That's a whole other thing. Join the Shallon if you want to do the deep dive on it, because we talk about it a lot. But also look at helping your man through that lens, and it will make more sense. Who cares if someone makes a good decision based on delusion? Who cares if they are brave based on absolute bamboozlement, self-bamboozlement? Who cares? Who cares? The ends justifies the means. And I know we are truth-based women. We are data-based women. And we're like, but that's not the truth. That's not true. Let it go. Let it go. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I can tell you what it's like to be right. I spent the vast majority of my romantic career being right. I am right. Let me tell you what's going on inside of you. And I got left for the inferiors. Or not inferiors. They were women who just understood more than I did how to buy what a man was selling, how to be a little bit more strategic. And it's funny, I thought I was being so strategic because look, I just knew so much. I'm so smart. Smart is a strategy. It's actually a blunt instrument. It's not a lockpick, it's a battering ram. You're just boom, plowing through something with your intelligence. It's a destruction tool. So a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, when you're dealing with a man's ego, he really doesn't serve you. And I know. It's infuriating. It's unfair. I get it. It's like I've worked my whole life to be smart and insightful, and it works against me. Yeah, it can. If you don't fuse it with strategy, be insightful, but use that insight. You're like, okay, hold on. I get that he is so triggered by his little brother because he feels like his little brother got away with everything and he was like always the bad guy and had to be like the third parent in the household. Telling him that directly will not make him feel good. It will make him feel exposed, and it will give him this idea that, oh my God, everyone in the world can see that that's how I am. Oh my God. The way a man saying she's hideous under that makeup would body us and make us think like, so everyone knows that I'm ugly under here. Would we thank someone for saying that? Would we feel just so much closer to them? You really get me. I don't want to get got like that. Thanks. Not a good thing. So take your insight, but you're going to have to pull back. You're going to have to do a little bit more work, and you're going to have to be sneaky with this strategy. You're going to have to come up with things for him to say. Strategies. I mean, it's difficult. It is not easy, but the ends are going to justify the means. If you want to get your man through something difficult, even out your relationship, and move stressful things off your plate so that your path together is clear, this is how you got to be. Penny Benjamin the living hell out of that man. Tell me what you guys have to say. What have you helped a guy through? How did you do it? What did you do that was wrong? What did you do that was right? Is there a strategy you have? Is there a phrase that you drop that he's like, yeah, I do got this? Like how have you stood by your man without infantilizing him, without making him feel exposed and stripped of his emotional spanks, without mommying him and solving these problems for him, which is deeply unsexy. And even if we jump in and we solve everything, the new problem that creates, the runoff from that, is we feel like the man. We feel and we look like mommy who rushed in to save him. And guess what? A parent-child dynamic, it's a kiss of death. The absolute kiss of death. For more, come back next time. We're going to be doing some more videos. Tell me what else you guys want to talk about this holiday. I feel celebs are always kind of quiet in December, so there's not like a ton to talk about. I asked you guys on my Instagram if you could wave a magic wand, what's an area of your life you want to improve? Confidence, friendships, or career? And you guys said career. So tell me some of your career questions, and maybe I'll do some stuff about that. And like I said, if you're needing a wardrobe refresh, if you want to glow up, try some new styles, save some money, look sparkly and dazzling this holiday season and into next year, go ahead and sign up for XO Style Box, my clothing rental subscription service. First month is absolutely free with unlimited swaps. What have you got to lose? I'll see you later, Shalligators. Mwah!